TruthSeekAH and/or its affiliates are not responsible for any strange phenomena that may occur during or after listening to this podcast, which may include the following: heightened senses of awareness, psychic abilities, UFO sightings, alien contact, time loss, out-of-body experiences, ringing in the ears, ESP, lucid dreaming, increased synchronicities, astral projection, telepathy, stronger intuition, and/or its affiliates are not responsible for any remote viewing. Please be advised to listen at your own discretion.
Won't you come and take me away? I just wanna be with you. Won't you come and take me away? To a place to walk on troubled seas, faith to stand when I don't believe. I just wanna be with you. Won't you come and take me away? I just wanna be with you. Won't you come?
You are now locked into the TruthSeekAH podcast.
Gargoyles! Psychics! Everything's ungodly! Dark Savage!
Streaming live at TruthSeekAH.com.
She's not a Christian!
Give it up, y'all.
Your portal to the paranormal, esoteric, and all things spiritual.
She's tampering in dark sided stuff!
And now, your host, TruthSeekAH.
Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm your host, TruthSeekAH. This is the TruthSeekAH podcast. I'm excited, delighted to be with you guys again for another episode, man. We talk all things spiritual. It's what we do. We show up. Everybody has a piece of the puzzle. We gather those pieces, we bring them together, and it formulates a picture. In today's show, it's going to be the exact same thing. We're going to be talking about angels, the angelic realms. We're going to be talking about intuitive healing, visionary artists, and all that good stuff. It's going to be really good. Buckle up. Give a shout out to everybody hanging out with us in the chat right now. Everybody on Facebook, Patreon, everybody who's watching us live on YouTube, D Live, Twitch, all those cool places, man. Just want to give a shout out. Today is the first episode that I'm doing in my new place. So I got a new home and a new studio and relocating, and I'm still working on the studio now. And so this is what it looks like for now. And so I'm going to be constantly working on this in the next week or so. All my stuff's coming in, so we should step everything up. But I'm excited, man. A new chapter, man. 2021 is going to be amazing. So shout out to all of you beautiful people who are taking that step forward with this as Patreon supporters and as friends and family, and along for the ride. You guys mean the world. Thank you for all the support, all the prayers, all the love over the years, and people who are still with us here to this day, man. Thank you guys. If you like to support, partner with the work, you believe in the podcast, the music, and everything that I'm bringing to the table, head on over to patreon.com/TruthSeekAH. There you get access to my entire discography of music. You get access to the School of the Mystics, which is our Thursday night community sessions, what we're building here. Really beautiful stuff. Do a lot of prayer, breath work, guided meditations, and really just conscious conversation. Make sure you check it out. You go to TruthSeekAH.com or just go to Patreon.com/TruthSeekAH. All right, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump into today's talk. My guest today is Susan Walter. Susan, welcome to the TruthSeekAH podcast, my friend. How are you?
Yeah, thanks for sharing your space with me today.
Oh, great. Yeah, it's good to have you. And seen your website. You hit me up a couple weeks ago, I guess the beginning of the month, and thought that it would make a good talk. You got a lot of beautiful things that you do and create art and tapping into the angelic realms and stuff like that. I think the more interesting story, which I like to start with anyway, is how you got into all of this. And so from your bio, it talks about a near-death experience and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, I had two near-death experiences. The first one at the age of 4. Looks like we're not going to be alone today. First near-death experience was the age of 4, and then I had a second one at the age of 6. And during that experience, I was introduced to some of my own personal angels. And then after that experience, I was just able to see them all the time. But growing up, I only saw my own. And then in 1997, I noticed that I wasn't seeing just my own anymore. I was seeing everybody else's. So the first thing I did was sit down in meditation and ask, okay, why, what's going on? What am I supposed to do with this? And I got the very clear message that the intention was for me to actually start either painting or drawing these beings for others, just to help them get that connection to the divine and to understand that there's so much more going on in our world than what we can see with our 3D eyes.
Wow. That's amazing. So whenever you had that experience, did you know what it was? Because you talk about like a lot of light, beings of light and colors and
Yeah,
things like that.
because I'd been seeing my own, since I was so young. I was, was quite was quite aware of what I was seeing, and was actually quite comfortable with it. It was a little overwhelming to all of a sudden, just go to the grocery store, for example, and see all these 12, 15, 18 feet beings around everybody. Yeah, so I have over time learned to do what I think of as turning the volume down, so that I don't see them in their full form all the time anymore. It's like seeing spheres of color and light around people, and that color is just constantly moving. It's almost kind of like a, glitter in a snow globe type of thing.
Yeah. Now, I know we're just jumping into this head first. I got so many questions, and but you're talking about seeing angels. Now, do you see demons as well, or is this just the angelic,
No,
beautiful
I
beings?
don't. I was very specific at the very beginning. Yeah, as far as anything, dark, that I was to be protected from that,
Yeah.
and not to see anything, any negative experiences that people might be, getting ready to, unless I could do something to help or prevent that
Yeah.
experience, to, that I not see stuff like that.
That's good. I like that. A lot of people claim to see those type of things, but it really serves you no purpose if you're not sent to help them, or you don't have a solution for what's going on.
Right.
And I think that many people, when they are intuitive or empathic, when you're just getting pushed around by all these energies and stuff, you're supposed to do something with it, right? When the angels carry a message, because we know
Right.
that the very word angel means messenger, right? So when you see these things, it's this call to the song and dance with the creator and relaying these messages back, and you becoming an angel yourself, right? A messenger, a shaman between the worlds, if you will.
I usually don't use that term, but yeah, it kind of fits in a way.
Yeah, for sure. So what are some of the things, at least the first experiences that there was like an interaction with the angelic?
In the near-death experience, my first experience was, I was in this massive garden type setting is the best way I can, or park type setting that I can explain it, with these just massive, massive trees that, the size of, of this time, of course I was not aware of the redwoods, but it was that size of a tree. Them branches were even so high that even, these angels that were 18 feet tall, even they couldn't reach the branches. And it was like one of them actually, that almost, like, the best way I can describe it is knelt down in front of me and actually then spoke to me. And what exactly was really said during a lot of that, I don't remember, because I was so young. And then I remember being asked if I wanted, because I grew up on a farm in Iowa, and I was notorious if there was a nest of baby mice or baby rabbits or whatever, I found it. So they asked me if I wanted to see the world through the eyes of the animals. So it's like I spent the time that, where my physical body was going through a life-saving surgery, I was kind of, going from one animal to the next to the next. And even ended up in the end, where I was in the ocean when what I believe was a blue whale. And then it was all of a sudden, it wasn't like I wasn't swimming in water anymore. I was swimming in space. And then I was shown where at that moment when my soul and a number of other souls were all created, where I was on my way to the angelic realms. That's where I had decided I was, going to go. And another being pulled me and two other souls aside, and asked us to become what the word that was used was planet creator. I'm still trying to wrap my head around what that actually means, but we were shown what the world would be like if we didn't made that choice to become a planet creator, or if we were, or to go on to the angelic realms. And I obviously chose to do that. The other two beings, they didn't. They went on to the angelic realms.
Wow. It's pretty intense. And so when this happened, when you were the first time you had the near-death experience?
That's more from the second one when I was 6. I don't remember as much from the one when I was 4.
And so, I guess moving on and trying to communicate or engage with the angelic beings from the other side, was it something that you could do at will, or they were just kind of like the lines were blurred between the realms and you always saw this? How did that work for you?
Yeah, it's like it was just always kind of blurred, and I've always been able to see them, with the 3D eyes, not just, and it's kind of like seeing that ray of sunshine coming down between the clouds. Very, very transparent, very light. Now, it did take some time for me to be able to communicate with them. And some of them still do not speak English with me. They, so some I can understand what they're trying to say. Others, it's more of an impression, because it's like they don't speak English and I don't speak whatever language they're using. So sometimes sometimes still a little bit of a challenge. Some use pictures with me. They'll, give me a flash of kind of like, of a photograph of this, and that sometimes that's helpful too.
Yeah. Would you say that some of them, I guess, if they're doing that, are they communicating telepathically with you?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So that's interesting. Now, have you ever, because this is something that I'm getting into a little bit. I get those messages too, right? I've been trying to use Google Translate with some of the stuff that I can't translate, and it always comes back as something like, we are here to help humanity. We are here to serve. We have your best interest in mind. We are changing things for the better. Like, it's these weird, like, broken, like, syllables that come through. But when I put them through Google Translate, it comes through usually in another language. And for me, it's usually either Phoenician or Filipino. And it comes through. It's usually the same thing. But have you ever tried that, or maybe
no, I haven't. Yeah, I'll have to try that out. That's an excellent idea.
Yeah, you would think that, if the angels want to communicate, why don't they just tell you what they're saying? But I will say, like what you're saying, the impression is always there. Like, you kind of know what it is, but articulating that and receiving it in language is a different story, right?
Right.
So for you, where does art come into play? I'm an artist as well. I mostly, work on music, and I get a lot of these messages, and I put them in embed healing tones and in these journeys with the angelic and stuff like that within my music. For you, you're an artist, and you draw pictures and you paint pictures of the angelic and stuff. What does art have to do with the spirit realm and communicating those messages?
Because, when you get down to it, everything's really frequency. And vibration. An atom is an atom. It's what frequency it's vibrating at. And that can be, not only sound and, music and words, but also, color. it has a vibration to it as well as a frequency. So it's using, interpreting it in that way.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, even the colors I pick, for my backdrops and logos and all that kind of stuff. Like all of that has an intention behind it. The purples and the blues, and I see you have a lot behind you, purples and blues, and people resonate with those purples and blues. Is there anything specific about those two colors?
They're just very soothing, vibrations that they create. Where, the hot colors, the reds, the orange, the yellows, those are much more activating. So, if you're trying to, calm down and go into a meditative state, a healing space, then, those more calming colors. But yeah, we do need to work with those hot colors too, or those warm colors, because so many of us, and especially in the spiritual community, we're focusing so much on the heart and opening the throat and getting the third eye open so we can receive those guidance and messages, but we're not staying grounded.
Yeah.
And that's why working with those warm colors would actually help us.
And again, when it comes to the art for you, was this something that you just did intuitively, or something that you were infatuated with, or was this something that was told to you that you should draw depictions and things like, or paint depictions of the angelic?
As I was a kid growing up, I found out I was born the same day as Michelangelo, so that I always thought that meant I was supposed to be an artist. The problem was there was no talent.
Yeah.
And then later on, once I was asked to start, drawing the angels, and of course, I did spend like the first 6 months arguing, going, there's got to be somebody better at this than me. I don't know how to do this, and I had 2 teenage sons at the time when I was, that thought, they came to me and started asking me to draw this, and as well as 2 toddlers. So I wasn't in the least bit busy. But they were so persistent that I kind of had to give in after a while. And I don't know if any of you guys have ever tried to argue with angels. You're not going to win. If they have a task for you or a mission for you, something they want you to do, they will be persistent. They will stick with you until
Yep. Yeah.
until you do it.
I'm with you on that. Like, I always talk about this beautiful encounter that I had on psilocybin plant medicines, and it was something that once I started researching, I knew I had to do it. But and I don't like to like brag or like try to convince people to do it, even though there's so many medicinal reasons that it has. But it's one of those things where, like, if they call you to do it, you have to do it. You just have to. There's no getting away from it. It's gonna plague you, even through media or your research or whatever it is. Just gonna keep coming up until you do that, or whatever it is, the next thing that you need to do on your journey. Even, like, I think that we're being guided and guarded by the angelic realms too, that communicate through synchronicities and signs and symbols, and they push and pull things and set things up for you. They're translating messages from heaven to earth for us, and so they and they know exactly what we need, like something that stands out to you and your conscious and everything you've learned over the years and things you've watched on television and what it represents and means, something specific to you that may not mean anything to anyone else, but those synchronicities that kind of come through from those realms as well.
If they have a different viewpoint, it's like we're in the middle of the bubble. When they have that perspective of being able to, see the big picture from outside the bubble and really get, that broader perspective that we just don't have at this point. I think we would, not that we won't at a later time.
Yeah. And I always pray for that. I always ask to be able to see with that, that standpoint, see people like that myself, instead of like getting disgruntled or holding grudges or something like that. Like, let me see the bigger picture, why this happened to me, why this is going on in my life, why this keeps reoccurring. And you'll see, like you're saying, there is a bigger picture at play,
Yeah. because their main purpose to be with us is, yeah, they do guide us in a lot of ways, but their main thing is to help us stay on our path of we came in with all these lessons that we wanted to learn and things that we wanted to experience. And they're the ones kind of keeping us on that track. So if we, for example, really wanted to learn forgiveness, they're going to put you in situation after situation after situation where you have to forgive.
Yep.
Until you really get it.
Mm-hmm. When you do a session with somebody, or you and you draw their angels, what is it that you're seeing, and what is it that you're drawing? Do you have any examples? I know you have a bunch on your website, but do you have any?
Actually, what's over my shoulder here, that's an example of one there. See, and I think there might be, if I just in those other smaller paintings over there, some prints were incorporated into those works.
Beautiful.
And then the rest of the stuff you see behind me, a lot of that is stuff I see like in meditation or in dream state.
What's the purpose of doing that for someone, drawing their angels? Like what happens when you do that?
It opens a portal and a connection, and just gives you something to physically look at, to really feel connected to. And after drawing an angel portrait for someone, one of the things I do always tell them is to keep it someplace where they are going to see it every day.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be used as a open eye meditation tool. And some people just, I've had a couple of people come back to me recently telling me how they, after having a bad day, they'd go and literally just stand or sit in front of the portrait and say something like, "I'm not alone," and just sit there until they really felt that the presence of their angels around them. Everybody has minimum 3.
Wow. And do you get names with this too? Are you able to tell
I do. That's the last thing that happens. But the names I get are very unusual. Because their real names would take us about 15 to 20 minutes to pronounce. And because we need something shorter than that, they spell for me a piece of it.
Yeah.
And then the pronunciation is totally up to you. There's no right or wrong. If you want to abbreviate it further, that's okay too.
Awesome. Are you getting anything for me? Do you see anything?
I always, of course, I see several angels around you. Ooh, at least 9.
Wow. And
the more you have with you, the more work you have to do. And a lot of times, especially when you have 12 or more, you're really here to help out. We're always all here to help each other and be of service. But particularly when you have 12 or more, then you have what's called a planetary contract, and it's like your main mission and main goal. Things that you're here to accomplish in this lifetime are to be of service to others.
Now, what about, so we're doing, a session like this, and, we're on Zoom, we're different parts of the country, and you're picking up on things. Does it have to be a mutual thing, or like, can you watch TV and see, Trump's angels and things like that when you're watching television shows and actors, and even when they're portraying personas? Does it translate that way too, or is it more of something
not usually? I know I can, I have done angel portraits from even from photograph, as long as I could see the eyes. There's something about television I'm not able to I don't know what it is that's different about television and internet. I don't quite understand that, but and maybe it's the focus and the intention of being in that space. Yeah.
But Zoom and everything works good,
Oh yeah, Zoom works great. I've done it. Actually, I had never done angel portrait through Zoom until March. But I've done many of them since March.
Yeah, it's kind of forced to.
Yeah, I still do have, a one-on-ones, a few here in Kansas City. But yeah, a majority of what I've been doing since March has all been through Zoom.
That's awesome. I want to talk a little bit more about angels here shortly, but what are the Solfeggio Mandala activation guides? What is that?
Okay, the solfeggio frequencies, for those, let's explain what those are. Those there's 9 sets of 9 frequencies, and these are all very specific Hertz frequencies. And they're all 3-digit numbers, and they all always add up to 3, 6, or 9. I believe it was Nikola Tesla who said if we understood 3, 6, and 9, we'd understand the universe. And interestingly enough, angels prefer to do things in threes or in numbers that are divisible by 3. Even the paper I draw the angel portraits on, or it's 9 by 12.
Yeah.
But they're very specific Hertz frequencies. They're the frequencies used to sing our universe into existence. Our own sun puts off the frequency, 528, which is one of the earthly solfeggio frequencies. And it's because when NASA has gone out into space, they have recorded the frequencies, the tones put off by each one of those spheres, by each of the planets, each of the moons. And those all turn out to be solfeggio frequencies.
Yep. Pythagoras.
All based on Pythagorean math.
Yeah, it's insane when people really figure that stuff out, and it can get really, 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 really complex. But it's very simple too, with just being able to feel the energy or listen to the pleasant tunes, right? You can feel it, make it simple for everyone.
Listening to those frequencies, I've created mandalas based on all 81 of those frequencies. So the activation guides are actually just a coloring book where so that can be one way that somebody can work with the energy of the mandalas. And then I've also have meditation decks. So it's essentially a set of cards. Actually, even have one, like right here.
Nice.
So just another way to work with those mandalas.
And so with that, with the art, just looking at the mandalas or some of the different sacred geometric patterns that you kind of see in the other realms and stuff, what do you think that does for us when we gaze into like a mandala or concentrate, or just even the art in general? Do you feel like, you used to talk about a gateway and portals are open, things are unlocked, comes through in your art? Like what else happening with the mandalas?
Yeah, because it helps us realign with our original blueprint. When you get into those frequencies that were used to, sing not only our existence, but even the frequencies that that we exist in here in the 3D world, it can help with the healing process. 528 has been called not only the frequency of divine love, but it is said to be able to help repair DNA.
Yeah, it's the love frequency. It repairs and fixes a lot of stuff. I believe that they use that 528 to help with the oil spill cleanup here on the Gulf Coast. And they
432 is another one that they can use to help a lot with that.
Yeah. It's amazing just to sit in it. And if there's any skeptics, with the math, and there's people who they get not on the skeptic side, but more of the people who want to get into, you're not supposed to listen to that one, 528's not the right tone. Just feel it. Just put it on, listen to it, and how does it make you feel? And you can tell. I think that by itself, the fruit of that frequency should tell you, that it's pleasant and it's beautiful and it's healing. And when you focus upon that, let's talk about that with those. Do you listen to those tones to meditate to? Because I feel like, with every spectrum of light, there's a spectrum of sound. Everything's vibrating. That even when you hear those, it's beautiful when you connect everything. The color, right? The color light, smells, even adding aromatherapy to it, and then the sound, do you feel like you can ride those sounds to different realms or frequencies of heaven, or to get healing on a certain thing? Do you feel like if you meditate and tap into that you can leave your body and go somewhere where that sound is connected to or coming from?
Most definitely, most definitely. I've even seen some channeled information talking about how some of the different extraterrestrial beings actually use sound as a navigation tool. Um, yeah, as they move through space, because listening for those different frequencies that they know the different spheres are putting off.
Yeah, that's
Sorry,
awesome.
my cats are in the background playing.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's connected to the ringing in the ears when you hear
Mm-hmm.
that frequency. And I've heard it ever since I was a kid. And they tell you it's a disorder, and we think it's a disorder until we focus in on it, and it can get really, really, really loud. And it's said that you can time travel, that you can leave your body and travel to different realms if you focus on that ringing in your ears. When you get silent, when you get really quiet by yourself, and it just begins to take over. And I think it's the same with a lot of these other tones that we can record or play on a guitar, or crystal chimes, and sound baths and song bowls and all of that stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know I do this crystal singing bowl meditations as well, and all my bowls are all solfeggio frequencies.
So pleasant.
Mm-hmm.
I have one of the pyramid crystals, the crystal pyramids that you
Yes,
can
I've
you
seen
can
those. Uh-huh.
ding, and it sounds beautiful, and it vibrates and resonates the whole room. But it feels amazing when you put it over your head and do it. It's in that pyramid shape. It feels like a cone just washing down over your body when you play it. You can literally feel it like washing over you. Feels
Yeah,
amazing.
I've experienced that too. Just a note, if you have one of those, after you hit it, please use your hand to stop the tone before you set it down on the table. Because if it's still ringing and you set it on a table, it's better.
Yeah, they break really easy. You got to be really careful.
Yes. Mm-hmm. They are very beautiful tools, but very delicate tools.
Hmm. Yeah, you gotta be real careful with those, because they're not cheap either.
No.
I got a small one. It cost me like $80, I think, but well worth it for sure.
Oh yeah.
Take care of your health. Like you pay now or pay later. Go ahead and invest in some of the beautiful God-given technologies that we have here to lift our spirits and cleanse our auras, man.
Yes. And protect us from all these different EMF and 5G and all those things too.
Speaking of that, when I first started hearing about tones and frequencies, and how there's beautiful, pleasant tones that can help you and make you feel great and do all types of things, heal you. For that to be true, the opposite has to be true as well, right? There has to be these negative tones or notes that scare you and shock you and make you stand on end, and literally that they play a lot of those notes and things in like scary movies and horror movies, and inspirational music will play the beautiful solfeggios, right? They do that for a reason. And when I started hearing about those tones, I remember never feeling the same way about when they do like the emergency broadcast test on the radio,
Oh
and they turn off every radio station, and then they play this bam, 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 and I'm like, I'm turning that off. I don't know what they're trying to send or lull the people or what they're doing, but I just, ever since I was conscious of that, I'm like, no, I'm turning, every time I hear it, I turn it off. I don't want that just singing over me.
Yeah, because when you go into, for example, one of those rooms where that are totally padded, where you're going to hear nothing from the outside world, all you're going to hear is what's coming from your own body. You're still going to hear two things. You're going to hear your own heartbeat, and the blood moving through your body. But you're also going to hear your nervous system. Everybody's nervous system puts off a frequency. And that's why some people, don't get along, is because their frequencies totally do not, are not in sync with each other at all. But how you meet somebody sometimes and you just feel very comfortable with them. feel like you've known them for a long time. It's because your frequencies are, aligning. They're vibrating at a similar rate.
Yep. Yeah, I've met those people many a times,
Mhm.
and you feel like you could trust them, really,
Yeah.
like to stay in your home, and I have.
Mhm.
That's how it is. So what if other people want to connect with their angels? What is the best way? Is it to book a session with someone? Obviously, if you have someone who's already good at it, they can teach you and they can show you things that you don't know that may take you years to find out on your own. By booking a session with someone, it definitely speeds the process up. I love doing sessions with individuals and just allowing the energy to come through. But if someone wanted to get in touch with the angelic realm, maybe even like a skeptic who, I mean, I think most of us start out as skeptics until we have an encounter. Like, how can we facilitate those encounters? Or even should we? Because there's a lot of people who would say that you shouldn't try to contact the angelic realms. They're supposed to contact you. You know, it's a God thing. If you're seeking it, you can be deceived. There's a scripture in the Bible that says that Satan masquerades as an angel of light, and they're really quick to throw these things out there. But for someone who wants to engage with those realms for the first time, what's the best way to do that?
If you're concerned about, being a negative experience, the first thing you want to do then is when any being that contacts you, or when you sit down and try to contact, if you're radiating that love frequency and you're, in gratitude and appreciation, a being of negative, has a negative vibration is not going to be able to set and stay in that. And you can have every right to, first thing you do is, are you here for my best and highest good?
And some people would say they would lie to you and say, yes, I am, but they really aren't. I don't think they
Yeah,
can. I don't
and
think
if
they
they,
can. But
if any being starts telling you anything that is negative in any way about you, or or anything
humanity.
else, then they're not there for your best and highest good.
Yep. That's good. There's a lot of people, who claim to have dreams and visions from God and things, but it's always doom and gloom and destruction, and it never comes to pass. Not literally, but I'd question some of those dreams. I question you pointing out a problem without a solution, like we talked about. Like when you get a message, it's not just pointing a problem, just to echo the problem, but it's to get to the bottom of the solution. You know,
Right. Mm-hmm.
that happens a lot.
And if their suggestion, even for a solution, doesn't feel right to you and it has negative connotations to you, then you know, go back to that. Are you here for? Keep asking them. Are you here for my best and highest good?
Yep. And they can't lie to you. There's a scripture in the Bible again that I mentioned a while ago, and I go back to this a lot. I wrote about it in my book because we do have a lot of people in religion or coming out of religion who listen to the show, and one of the first things that people will say, we're talking about contacting angels and these visitations and stuff. They'll say, "Be careful because Satan is flying around as an angel of light, trying to deceive people," and because there's a scripture that says it. But I always like to point out that scripture is talking about people. That scripture was referring to ministers who were false prophets who were trying to deceive people. It wasn't talking about light beings or angels. It was talking
Mm-hmm.
about people who were here to deceive you. So if you read that scripture again, if you go look a little bit deeper into it, you'll find that out. Because early on, when I was coming out of religion and talking about a lot of this stuff, that was one that a lot of them went back to. Be careful. There's always that. Be careful. The angels are gonna try to trick you. You think it's an angel, but it's really a demon. It doesn't work like that. Like just like people can't lie. Like if you hang around a person long enough, you're able to partake of their fruit. It's their essence. It's their auric field. You may not get it at first glance. Some people can, but it may take a little while. You're able to tell. It's the same way. They can't like be one thing, but you think that they're another. If you're around them long enough, you'll be able to feel. You can feel intentions with the
Mm-hmm.
angelic, with the demons, if you will, and people, because you can feel people's intentions. That's what being empathic is. Um, Beautiful scripture in the Bible. Jesus was in a group of people, and there were people who were trying to kill him in that crowd, and he knew that he could read their thoughts. He knew their hearts and their intentions. And he got up out of there. It wasn't just so that he can has a special gift. It's like, listen, I need to use this and I need to leave because we're not done yet. And so when we have the abilities to read emotions and energies and intentions as well, for many people that's overwhelming. It's scary. You don't know
Right.
what to do with it. But it is for something, right? It can be overwhelming though.
Yeah, it can. And yeah, the main thing they're really trying to do is let you know that you're not alone, that there is some being there that's got your back and is being supportive in some way. Yeah, and they may be trying to, help you understand that there is more to this world than you can see in your 3D eye. 3D eyes, there's that spiritual connection to help you. Sometimes I get tired of hearing this term, but at the same point in time, it's true, is to wake up. And really start looking, at the, at the world around us and what we've created, and is this really truly what we want? And
And
if
if it
it's
isn't,
not, to start making those changes within yourself.
yeah.
Because if you don't start making them in yourself first, you're not going to be able to create them around you.
hmm Yeah, that's huge. And a lot of people have that victim mentality though. And I think for me, spirituality helps give me my power back. It keeps me
Mm-hmm.
conscious. It doesn't give me anything. It just reminds me, to stay conscious that I have a say in this matter too. I'm not just on default anymore. Like I can,
Mm-hmm.
if I don't like something, I can change it.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of times it's, how you react to what's happening around you. Would, are you going to let it, become the victim and let that situation overpower you? Or are you going to react in a more positive manner and, so that it can be changed?
hmm
So maybe it doesn't continue to happen to, say, the next generation in your family,
Yep.
or happen to you again.
Yep.
Too many of us have good, you know, we may, go from relationship to relationship, but we're just recreating the same situation with a different person.
hmm
Yeah. The best way to create a positive relationship is to first have a positive relationship with yourself.
Yep. Yeah, and I think a big thing, even for me, is like to do the spiritual work because obviously I'm a teacher. I talk about this, on podcasts and interview people all the time. But it's one thing to talk about. It's another thing to do it. To find your me time and to do your own meditation, to do your own breath work and tap it in for yourself. And it's huge. You never graduate from that. You never, and when you do, or when you think you do, you find out very quick that you still need it, to find your own time to get started before the day. It changes my entire day, 100%. If I start off and do a meditation, do qigong or some breath work and things like that, and set my intention early on versus ending the day with it, it's so different for me. Literally, it's night and day, the way I
Mhm.
feel.
And I know some people, they think, the goal is to become Buddha and they've got to meditate for at least an hour. And you can start out with 5 minutes, and slowly build up. And the goal is, they have all these lofty goals with meditation. And no, it's just to help you relax and to really, get into your own heart and to truly understand who you are.
hmm So I guess going back to, I know you just touched on it a little bit, but if somebody wanted to connect with their angels, like what's the best way to do it? Is there can they position themselves right? I feel like there's things that you can do. You can listen to podcasts like these. You can read
Yeah.
books and beautiful music and stuff like that. I feel like all of that kind of like opens you up to creativity, in the mind. Someone texted me yesterday and reminded me of an old post I shared, and it was it was the Lord's Prayer in Aramaic, which is super beautiful. It talks about the cosmos and vibrational frequency. It talks about all of that when you look at it in the original language. It's amazing. And he's like, do you think that this can open up portals if someone reads it in the regular language? And I said, yeah, in your mind, in your imagination, your faith is built of what is possible and how big and beautiful, the creator is. Definitely, like it raises your faith up to another level, just like the music and the paintings and everything that you're bringing to the table. I think that people just positioning themselves with this type of material opens them up for beautiful interaction as well.
Yeah, it's they're energetic portals to it. But if you're really wanting to connect with your angels more, meditation is going to be a huge tool, because you can talk to them, but if you don't take the time to listen, and that's really what meditation is taking that time to listen. But they do also use, they like to use numbers, particularly those triple digit numbers. They do use music for messages a lot as well. That random song that comes on Pandora, whatever you happen to be listening to, there can be messages there for you. Just because I know a lot of times, just music can just be playing and you're not really paying attention to what song is on or what the words are, but all of a sudden, for some reason, you hear some certain phrase out of there. It's like, that's probably because there's a message in there for you.
Yep. And it happens. I mean, would you consider that a form of synchronicity?
Yes, definitely.
It's God, the universe, angels, using whatever is in your life, in your surroundings, to get your attention. Mm-hmm. It happens. It's so creative, like, because it doesn't mean anything to anyone else. But to you, it's the world. It's like God is real. Like somebody knows what I'm thinking right now. Like it's that, it knows every thought, every frequency that I'm entertaining. Like this consciousness, which is love, knows it and is communicating with me. So let me not just talk back. Pray. Prayer is when you talk to God, and just like you just said, meditation is where God talks to you. And so for me, we say God, but God opens up the doors for the angels to come through. Those portals and synapses and things that are open, it is the creator that allows it to happen. So for me, again, like I go through that love portal, which is God is love. That's my religion. God is love. And that opens up to communicate with the beings of love that vibrate at that frequency. That's the standard.
I know a lot of people get real caught up with that word prayer, though, and thinking it has to be, very structured and can only happen in a certain way, and you can do it wrong and all this. It's like, no, you can talk to God and your angels just like they were friends. There's been times where, when I was really struggling with things, where I had a journal that all I do is write letters to my angels in that journal. And sometimes it was just like, my day sucked and I'm not getting along with so-and-so at work, and just, letting go of that stuff. And sometimes I would then just tear it out and burn it. It's, we need to release that stuff too. But just talk to your angels like they're friends. Don't get caught up in what, the word prayer.
Yeah, prayer. And I've got a whole teaching or a course or something I'm getting ready to do. Like that word is so simple, but so deep at the same time. Like we'll say, I did you pray today? Yeah. You know what that means? Like that's it's not just talking, it's the listening part. It is, I think even a huge part that it may be the biggest part of prayer in general is that we're speaking those requests. We're creating them as we speak them. I'm asking for this to happen. So there's this word, a petition prayer. Can you help me do this? And then there's another prayer of what we call releasing prophetically and speaking it out, declaring it. Right now, I call this into my life. I speak blessings. My day is going to open up. Someone is going to listen to this podcast today, and they're going to be blessed. Their lives are going to be changed for the better when they hear this. And so this prayer of this communion with the Creator turns from begging or asking into declaring as a son and daughter who knows who they are, and we get to change and create with the Creator. We are little creators. We're made in the image and a likeness of a creator God, if you will. And we do the same thing. We create, we bless, we build up, we tear down. We're good at it. It's what we do. And so when you're conscious of it, then you can play. Then you can communicate with the angelic and ask for, facilitate those for other people. Like, it has to be real to you first, though. Again, that's the quiet time. That is, like I mentioned, your time of you're doing your qigong, of you're doing your meditation, your breath work. If you don't believe it, ain't no reason to teach other people to believe. Trying to get other people to believe it if it doesn't work for you.
Yeah, I know in prayer too, if you're sitting there and asking for something or begging for something, you're implying lack. So that's what you're creating and manifesting is lack of whatever it is you're wanting to create. So focus more on thanking the Creator for bringing that energy to you. And thinking about what it's going to feel like whenever it is you actually have whatever it is, that new job or whatever you're wanting to create in your life, what it's going to feel like when it's there.
Yep.
And the gratitude for when you've received that.
Yep. 100%. And I think that every season of our lives, comes through at the right time. We may be tired, we may be ready for a transition, but I feel like there's things that we have to learn while we're there. So learning those lessons before you get to kind of like graduate or go to the next grade, if you will, or whatever, is huge. So that's why you have to be mindful in it all and understand, because I found myself like complaining about things that I was praying for. Like job situations was a big one, and it was like I kind of like begged to be where I am, and now I'm like complaining that I'm here. You know what I'm saying? And those were things that I released and thought. So it's like, you know what? Let me make sure, as I'm complaining and I want to be released from this, I don't want to be here anymore. And there's a lot of people there, like a lot of people there right now. It wasn't until that I did the inner work. I said, okay, what is it that I need to learn? Let me make sure, because I'm not going to be released from this or go to the next job or the next level or whatever that's supposed to look like until I've learned everything that I need to learn while I'm here. And then again, we're talking about the Creator who knows all of your thoughts, all of your intentions, all of your motives, knows that, okay, you finally got it. A little bit longer, as long as you get it, boom. And then you find out what opens up next for you,
And sometimes what we think we want is really not what's in our best and highest good. There can also be situations, particularly in the job scenario, that maybe that job that you're wanting hasn't been created yet. So there's a timing issue that not only do you need to be ready for it, but it needs to be ready for you.
Yep. And I'm thankful for that now. We get impatient, we want stuff now, but like, if I look at like this podcast, it's a perfect example for me. And just the level that it's reached over the years and reaching new people and a bigger platform and stuff like that. Like I wanted that a long time ago when I first got started, I wanted that, but I would have messed up a lot of stuff. There were things in me that needed to come out, that, I probably would have self-sabotaged a platform. And I feel like, again, that's that promotion thing. Like once you're faithful with, the small audience, or you're faithful with that small job that you hate, when it's time for you to go to that other job, you're gonna be faithful there. You're gonna be thankful. You're gonna have much gratitude. You're not gonna be complaining about, your job or whatever. So for me, I'm thankful, and that's why I'm really like doing the inner work to make sure that you're ready for that. For that. I guess like in a job, like on a regular job, like when the boss is ready to promote, they do evaluations, and they give that next position to whoever's like who's ready for it, who I can trust. Like, I'm not gonna come on, Derek. Like, listen, you complain about everything, you show up late, you're not ready for this next level. You're gonna stay there at that pay grade, at that's those same duties that you're struggling to do. Like, until you get it and it's second nature, you're gonna be there until you learn and you get them upgrades and you're just able to move to the next level. That's how I look at it, man, and it's really helped me to learn. No matter, it helps you to be content, no matter where you are. That you're right where you're supposed to be, no matter where you are. I truly believe that. It may be a dark night of the soul. It may be uncomfortable. It may be scary. It may be alone. But listen, for that moment, you're right where you're supposed to be.
Exactly. Very well said.
For sure. So let's go back to the art again that's behind you. Did you is that all of your art behind you?
It's some of it.
Okay. Or you did all of that?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Man, I wish I had mine behind. I've been sent art, some beautiful stuff from different listeners over the years. I got some really cool stuff that I was debating whether I should put in here, but then I'm looking at yours and I'm like, oh, I need it in here. Some really cool stuff.
Yeah, this here is even, I blew up one of the mandalas that I created and, put it on a 3 foot by 3 foot canvas. And yeah.
Oh, that's 3 foot? Wow.
Yeah, it's a big piece. Yeah, just, all the different things that I see, and it, in meditation and dream state, and it incorporates a lot of sacred geometry. Yeah, I enjoy doing abstracts from time to time too, but that still comes from meditation and stuff too, because that's the light and the energy, the way it's moving, the way I'm seeing it, around me.
Yeah.
And I'm incorporating stones into some of the things that I do. And oddly enough, I think it's one of the pieces up here. My father passed away a couple years ago, and he, the last few years of his life, when he was retired, he was a big needle pointer, made some absolutely beautiful things. And I ended up with boxes of all his threads after he passed away. So I've started incorporating some of that into some of my work too.
That's awesome. The sacred geometry, very near and dear to my heart. Language of the universe.
Yes.
And that's what you see, that's what you see when you go in, you see, a lot of people talk about, and I'm looking at some of your stuff here on the website too. They talk about seeing cogs in gears in, complex geometry, and it's the language of the universe. When you go into deep meditation, you start seeing stuff like this, but it's moving, it's spinning, it's doing things like that. So to be able to capture that, obviously that's speaking as well. I mean, that is when we talk about music and sound and light, when you freeze it or when you zoom in on it, you're able to see these sacred geometric patterns, right? And it communicates something. Words, vibration, sound, all of it. And so they're like, I don't know if you would say freeze framed or whatever, a tone, but you can do that. Like, Dr. Emoto with the rice experiments and freezing the water that was played under certain hertz and sounds, and beautiful sacred geometric patterns were filmed from these beautiful tones versus something that it looks like confusion or real spiky or pointy or whatever the case is too,
Yeah, there's energetic grids around every life form and around the entire planet that allows different species to be on the planet. And that's all sacred geometry. Yeah, and speaking about what vibration or frequency was used to help not only create but hold that, you know, that being or that life force, whether it be anything from a plant to a spider to a human being. Those energetic grids are all here, and it's like to me it's almost like I see pieces of those from time to time, and I am trying in some way to portray those those energetic grids that I see in that sacred geometry.
Yeah, with that and with the angels and everything, like there's something big about symbolism. I have a whole chapter in my book about symbolism and not just symbols, but sigils, angel sigils,
Yes.
right? Kind of same thing, right? It's a vibration.
Yes.
It's a telephone, it's a communication device. And for humans, our psyche, monuments, even crystals, pyramids, Statue of Liberty. When you see these shapes and these symbols and monuments, things that were created, it invokes a feeling within you, a feeling of victory, a tattoo. Even we, get tattoos that remind us of our loved ones, and we wear a cross necklace that reminds us of Jesus, and whatever. The symbolism is so powerful, and we're able to tap into the angelic and bring those symbols over into this side as well. It's just so, what people look at it and they can feel things and be reminded of stuff that they forgot about. Maybe they've never seen this type of sacred geometry, but they've seen it somewhere, maybe in their dream state, maybe before they incarnated here. It's familiar. There's a familiar calling and connection with a lot of this symbolism, and a lot of the things that we say, we're communicating. Nobody's ever heard this stuff, but it resonates deep down within their spirit, and we're just reminding them of what they knew before they forgot, before they came here.
Yeah.
Symbolism's huge,
It is, most definitely. You go into, some of the ancient languages, like the Egyptian hieroglyphs. Yeah. They were using symbolism. It's very powerful.
Yeah, a lot of people think even before that they were communicating telepathically until they had to start using languages and art and things.
I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I believe there was a culture at somewhere in our past, and maybe even multiple cultures, that were far more advanced than we are today.
Do you get any of that, like from time to time, like intuitively or channeling?
Yeah, I
do.
do.
See pictures and like weird technology and stuff? Because I do. It's very faint, but every now and then I get some weird stuff.
Yeah, there's times where I've looked at at different things, and it's almost you get it just a flash of what it looked like at some point in the past. I know even when I woke up from one of my, after the surgery, after my near-death experience, I believe it was the second one, it was one of my grandmothers was sitting at my bedside, and she was reading a National Geographic. And on the cover was the Giza Plateau, which I don't remember ever had seen a picture of it before that time. And my grandmother didn't even know I was awake yet. And I said, well, where's the rest of them? And, and now just here in the last few years, they've started to discover foundations of other pyramids, even right there on Giza Plateau.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Or the ones popping up all over the world.
Oh, yeah. All over the world. Yeah. Every continent on the planet has had pyramids in maybe not made of stone, and maybe they were more the stair step type pyramids like we find in Mesoamerica. But, just a few hours from me in St. Louis, there's some place they call Cahokia. There was an earthwork there, a pyramidal shape that just made with dirt. Yeah, so these structures are all over the world.
What do you think?
And they are not all on the surface. There are pyramids and things buried in different places still too.
What do you think that they're for? Channeling energy and.
I think that it was part of a network that was used to create for communication, but also even for using the energy of the planet instead of this electrical grid that we use today. I think it was a power grid that helped power the planet in a natural way that worked with the planet.
Yeah, we still use, the earth for electricity, especially with grounding. Like you have to ground your electricity. So there's that earth, that natural technology that comes from the earth that
I think and I think that's part of what Nikola Tesla was probably tapping into, is some of that knowledge, from the past. And he even said himself that a lot of the information he said he was getting it from ETs, is what he said.
yeah. Yeah, that's really, really
Yeah,
wild.
but could it have been someone from a past or future civilization as well? That's very possible too.
That's what we'd call them,
Yeah,
even after they
because
told us who they
maybe
were,
they
we
don't
would
look
still call them.
exactly like we do anymore. Yeah,
We'd still call them ETs. No, I'm not an ET.
Yeah.
I'm a, I'm you. We're just really evolved. And no, it's an alien. People are weird, but man, Susan, I enjoyed this conversation, and your art is amazing, and everything that you bring to your table. You've got MP3 downloads and guided meditations and singing bowls and all that stuff. If somebody wants to check out your art and do a session with you and check out all your stuff, where's the best place for them to find out about your work at?
I do have a website, SusanWalterArt.com, and I'm also on Facebook and Instagram. And I do have a small channel on YouTube myself. I don't do as near as much as you do, but I have a few round tables that I do with some other ladies that are really fun. But you can always find me just Susan Walter Art on all those channels as well.
SusanWalterArt.com. Yeah, a bunch of beautiful.
Yeah, and the big thing, most people will try and put an S behind the Walter.
Yeah, they do. I tried to do it too.
Yeah, so
hold on.
There's plenty of S's in my first name. I don't need any in my last name.
There you go. Well, Susan, thanks for coming on, hanging out with me. Really enjoyed it, and we'll have to do it again. I'd love to have you back on.
Yeah, that'd be fun. So thank you very much. And thanks everybody for listening.
All right. Thank you, my friend. Many blessings. Susan Walter, ladies and gentlemen. Not Walters. Susan Walter. Good stuff. Enjoyed the talk. Really did. Man, shout out to everybody hanging out with us. Hope y'all did too. Engaging with the angels, with the angelics, as my friend Sheil posted here in the chat. Engaging with the angels. I love hearing those stories, man. Beautiful stories. And again, there's a reason. There's a method to the madness. Like there's a reason that you see this stuff. It ain't just, I see all kinds of weird stuff. Listen, ask why. And I think that only you can do that. I had somebody hit me up, and people ask me this all the time when they see ghosts or angels or UFOs. What do you think it was? Well, let me change that. They don't even say, what do you think it was? They say, what was it? People write me in, I seen so-and-so in my house. There was a ghost in my house, and my son seen the ghost, and literally yesterday, what was it? I don't know. There's so many things that it could be. There's difference when you say, what do you think it was? Now that'd be different. Now then I can give you my opinion, but to ask me a definite, what was it? You have those people, obviously the Christians will say, that was a demon. That was not a ghost. Ghosts are not real. That was a demon that was in your home. I don't know that. I would never insinuate something that I don't know. So that's why you don't see me speak on a lot. Most it's whether it's an opinion, but to say these definite answers that those aren't angels that you're talking to. Those are, you just name it. There's all kinds of weird theories. Those are elemental beings that are trapped on the Earth's atmosphere. And they're not really angels. They're demons. They're spirit-bound creatures that can't ascend into heaven. They're stuck on Earth. All kind of weird stuff. It could be. I don't know. I don't know. And you don't either. Let these people explore. Let them figure out their own truth. Help them, assist them. Obviously, if you think it's a demon, you're going to tell them that, but you don't know. You don't know that that's a demon, sir. You don't. You think it is, but you can't say for sure. You cannot. Such is life. Such is reality. Such is this existence. It's beautiful. It's ever evolving. It's changing. We don't have it all figured out. None of us do. And that's the problem with religion. Again, having to give answers and give explanations and reasons for things that you don't understand, or you have to act like you do. Listen, let these people talk to somebody who is a little bit more qualified or has a little bit more information or experience with this type of understanding or whatever it is. You don't have to give an opinion on everything. You don't have to act like a know-it-all. So I don't know who that's for. This may be a gentle rebuke, but we don't know, man. But I think that's the beauty. Obviously, people are going to come to someone who talks about this stuff openly, right? What was it? What was it? So maybe it's even, they look up to, not look up to you, but you're that, you seem to be an authority figure on it. I've casted out several demons. It's a demon, But people come to you because maybe they don't want to do the work. Obviously, if they wanted to do the work, they would do it themselves. You wouldn't need you. They wouldn't need you. They wouldn't need your opinion. But I mean, that should be the goal for you. You listen. You're the only one who can do the work. You can have anybody come to you and tell you, that's a spirit. There's a deceased loved one masquerading as an angel of light. We need to help him cross over. Listen, I don't know, but I feel like you can find out. Especially if you had the experience, if you, I'm sure I could find out too, and everyone could find out. But it's for you. They came to you. They didn't show up to me. I've had other things show up to me. That's for me. You may never see the things I've saw. You may have. That's the cool part. I like it when we do. I may not know what you're talking about, but just because I don't know doesn't mean it's not real. Doesn't mean that it's not special. Doesn't mean that it's not good or evil, for that matter. I don't know. Everything is subjective. That's for damn sure. That's for certain. Everything is subjective. Like, to your experience, to your encounter, to your consciousness, to your psyche, to your imagination, to the movies that you've watched, the Bible, everything is. It's relative to you. One man's trash is another man's treasure. That's relative. It's subjective to you, to your experiences, to what you believe. Well, don't you believe in truth? Yeah, I believe in truth. But, how many of our truths have changed over the years? So if it's truth, it's constant. It doesn't change, right? It's a law. But your opinion isn't truth, my friend. It's your interpretation. It's your opinion. Always be open. Always be ready to evolve and ascend. How long are you going to stay there? But if it's working for you, do it. Again, if it's helping you be a good person, a better father, a better friend, a better employee, man, keep it up. Whatever it is that you believe, whatever it is that's working for you. If it's working, don't change it. If it's not broke, don't fix it. But for the seeker, there is no, there is contentment, but there is always, we're ever searching and ever evolving and ever coming to the knowledge of the truth. And that's the beauty of it. It's the song and dance with all creation. And we're invited to the dance. I heard, again, your psyche, what it means. I remember somebody was listening to a comedy podcast yesterday, and the guy was saying they never got invited to the Sadie Hawkins dance. They never, like in middle school or high school, they never got invited to the dance. Well, this is the creator inviting you to the dance, to the song and dance of divinity with God and with all creation, with all the angels, with all the fairies, with all the imps, with all the demons, with all the devils, with all the people, with all the personas, everything. And it's beautiful. In the madness, there's beauty in it. In the mayhem, all of it. Hope you're having fun. Buckle up. It's very fun. It's serious for a lot of people. Scary for a lot of people. But we got to put ourselves out there. Tell your story. Let your freak flag fly. Whatever it is. Be yourself. Be who God called you to be. Don't be me. Be yourself. Ooh. I'm hungry. All right, y'all. I'm going to jump off of here. If you're watching this is my new studio. How's the sound? Is it echoey? I gotta work on soundproofing this a little bit. Getting some stuff in here. We're just going to continue to evolve. And I'm excited. We're excited. With that, I'm going to say peace and shalom. Love you guys. Hey to the chat. I see all you guys. Deborah, Richie, Jose, Lorraine, Vanya, Home Sauce, Flying Penguins, Martin, Sheil, Stephanie, CeeLo. All of you beautiful souls. Gothic Mystic, Luis, Cody. Shout out to everybody. Roy. Love you guys. And with that, I'm going to say peace and shalom. We'll talk to you guys very soon. Thursday, we got another show lined up. Some really cool guests coming on. Excited for 2021, man. Buckle up. David McHenry says, I'm here too, fool. Hey, man, don't call me no fool. A fool has said in their heart that there is no God. I'm not a fool. Don't you ever call me that. That was one of the biggest, what would you say, like cut downs or whatever, or like one of the most derogatory statements that you can call someone in the scriptures as a fool. I know you don't mean that, but, food for thought in the scriptures. But now we call each other fool as friends. Man, fool, you tripping. That fool tripping, man. Even your best friends, you call them fool. But that was one of the most derogatory things that you can call somebody in the Bible. Love you guys. We'll hang out. Peace, peace. We'll do it again. Shalom.
Your way so much higher than mine. So much higher than mine. So much deeper than mine. So much deeper than mine.
Well, that does it for this episode, folks. To hear more episodes of the TruthSeekAH podcast, head over to TruthSeekAH.com. And if you're wanting to support the show and get rewards, go to our Patreon page at patreon.com/TruthSeekAH.